Prelude. Lanzarote, January the 20th, 1879. She knelt on the window-sill, looking out over the sea. The night was clear, with a faint moon rising, but the stars seemed dim and far away. It must be imagination, but they were not white tonight. The evening star had risen apricot yellow, and now the main flock of stars crowded hazy and ill-defined above a horizon smoking with purple and cinnamon and grey. This was strange, for the day had been sharp and fine, with the sky settled to blue again after the eruption, and the wind blowing strongly from the north, straight from Cape Finisterre and the coast of Spain and down the chain of the Atlantic islands. Anxiously she peered into the darkness. Yes, the wind blew still. On the wall of the goat pen near the cliff's edges she could see the bougainvillea tossing, and above the roof the palm leaves shuffled and clicked like playing cards. Her father had gone to bed long since. He had won tonight, and lying wakeful, waiting, she had heard him call a jovial "Buenas noches" after his friends. Then the heavy door had shut, and the men's footsteps, with the quick pattering of old Senor Perez's donkey, had dwindled up the lane into silence. That was 2 hours since, and soon the moon would rise clear of the cactus slopes behind the house, and by its light she would see him coming. Mother of God, let him come. He promised, and I know he is true. I know he will come. He promised. The rosary moved in her fingers, but she was not praying. That time was over. This was now, the night itself, the night the prayers were to be answered. The clenched beads scored her fingers, and she shut her eyes. When she opened them again, he would be here, his boat stealing round the headland into the bay. Till then, she would shut her eyes on that empty sea and think about him, as if by thinking she might make his coming sure. Against the fizzing dark inside her eyelids, she could see him now as she had first seen him 3 weeks ago, down there on the white sand of the bay, the mussels glancing and sliding under his brown skin as he braced himself in the shallows to pull his boat inshore. She had turned quickly away, as a modest girl should, but Conchita had run, childlike, down to the boat to peer in at the catch of fish. She had hesitated then, and called, but the child paid no attention. And then the young fisherman had turned, straightening, and smiled at her. He was barefooted, and his breeches were ragged and faded with salt and sun, but the light ran and glinted on wet gold skin and black hair, and she could think of nothing but how the smile drove the deep crease down his cheek and lit the dark eyes. Then the smile had gone, and he was staring, and she had stood with her eyes on his and her heart choking her till Conchita had run back, laughing, and pulled at her hand. She opened her eyes, and he was here. Round the north headland, shadowy on the shadowy sea, the boat stole like a night bird, under sail. She thought she could even see him, a shape at the tiller, dark against the sea fire as the boat heeled in the gentle curve that would bring him into the bay. She left the sill and moved over to the bed. Her sister's breathing was so quiet that it hardly stirred the air. She hesitated, stooping over the bed, the rosary dangling from her hand, its tiny cross swinging on a silver link. She tugged at this, and the link parted, and she dropped the cross, warm from her skin, on the child's pillow. Then she picked up the bundle of clothes wrapped in her shawl and paused with a hand on the door. A cloud, thick and dark, drove past the window, but she did not need light to show her the room in whose familiar safety she had slept every night of her 18 years, the bed of canary pine, the coffer with its worn oak carving that had been her great-grandmother's dower chest, the wrought iron candlesticks, the crucifix on the wall. They had been here all her life. They had spelled safety and love. Now she would spell love her own way. And safety, too? Mary Mother, but she must believe what her heart told her, and soon she would be sure. She slipped out through the door and along the flagged passage to the kitchen. The dog raised his head and blinked at her,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?